Hello and welcome. My name is Ajaxpost and you join me here once again in Smart Factory Tycoon for a very special video to tie in with the upcoming release of the game, the full release of the game, which I understand is scheduled for the 26th of March 2022, so it's just a few days away. Now, you may have seen a couple of other videos I did just over a month ago now in February, starting with the beginnings version of the game, which is basically a sort of extended demo of the game, and then very grateful thanks to the developers Turquoise Revival Games, who offered me a key to the game to have a further look at it, give them perhaps some feedback and show it off to you, which is what I'm doing here today. The first thing I want to say is that the beginnings version of this game, which is limited to the first 5 factory levels, so there is a kind of time or experience limit to it, but it is pretty much exactly the same as the full game. So all the features that are implemented in the full game should be available to you if you download the free beginnings version. So if you're not sure yet, after watching this video or other videos on YouTube or checking out the store page itself, if you're not sure if the game's right for you, then by all means go download the beginnings version and you'll get a proper feel for what the game can offer. They're obviously limited very much to the early stages of the gameplay. So without further ado, let's have a look at what is brand new, what's improved and enhanced in the release version of Smart Factory Tycoon. And there are a couple of things we can notice first off as we open up the game at the main menu. They've added a couple of on-off options for us, so impacting on how immersive or how engaged you want to be in the environment of the game, rather than just creating an effective factory producing toys in the most efficient and profitable way possible. Do you want it to have weather? Do you want to have day cycles? We can now enable or disable those. The first little sort of intro to the game I was playing then had the weather turned on. So you had the rain, the thunder, you'd have snow, and all the trees would be white as they are in this screenshot here. And you would have bright summer days as well. But if you don't want that, if that's not how you want to play the game, then you can turn that off. Likewise with day cycles. If you don't want it to get dark at night, if you'd rather play in a perpetual sunny environment, then you can equally turn off the day cycles as well. In terms of the general settings and options of the game, I don't think there's much been changed here. It depends how early you saw this. The very first versions of the beginnings demo version that they uploaded to Steam didn't have some of these options in the controls and gameplay options. Unfortunately, one thing they've not been able to do, having spoken to the developers a couple of times about this, for reasons of the game engine they're using apparently, or whatever, they can't enable the spacebar as your pause key. So even if you attempt to reset this pause game key to space, it just goes back to whatever you set it to, or whatever the default was. The normal speeds are 1, 2, 3 and 4, so I've set it to this back quote key, but again you can change those to whatever you need them to be. The mouse does work. You do have edge scrolling if you enable it. That's how I prefer to play these games anyway, so I'm happy with that. So, but that aside, something else has changed when you create a brand new game. Yes, we can now customize our factory logo. So not only do we give ourselves a name, what shall I call myself today? Ajax the Toy Man. That's good, I think, isn't it? Yes. So what background colour do I want? This, as far as I can see, only affects the kind of flag or logo you see for your save games. So it doesn't have a great deal of impact on the game, but it's nice to have these sort of personalisation options available to you. Now, I do like purple, but my channel colour is generally a sort of orange, so let's stick with orange. And we have a variety of cartoony animals as our logos to choose from. A very feminine cat, we could choose that, or a dragon, that might be nice actually, or a koala bear, oh that's so cute, it's so cute. Sheeps, or if you want to be dramatic, a lion's head, or ooh, a camp shark. Yes, that's me. That is definitely Ajax the Toy Man, a camp shark on a base of orange. So that's us. So let's set this game up and let's get going. So we have one building to start with on a fairly large plot. Now the game does start running So you need to stop it first. So we'll call this building room 101. So I'll save that, and then I can stop the game. I can put it into pause mode. There is a tutorial. It's only 13 steps or so, and it's quite handy just to guide you around how to set things up and the basics, the very basics you need to get your factory in operation. I'm not going to do that. I think I did that in my very first video, and you can find that in the playlist. It'll be linked at the end of the video to the playlist, so you can find that quite easily. Now, there are a variety of buildings on the factory site, some of which have helicopter pads, one of which has a dock, so you can get stuff arriving. Oh, there's even fish in it. Arriving by ship, and one has a train station platform. Okay, there's no platform by the look of it, but there's definitely a train track. But to start with, everything will arrive by road, and we have one building. Yeah, expanding to these other buildings is quite expensive, so it will take a little while to get up to affording those. We can actually do some more customization here. This is again something new they've added since the first release of the beginnings demo. We can actually colour our buildings. Now, I have spoken with the developers on this, and there was thinking that it might be possible to colour individual buildings. That's not available at the moment. It may in fact not be possible at all, but we can at least colour our buildings to give our whole factory a sort of generic kind of colour. So if that orange looks a bit dark in this colour. As to the orange, I like orange, but I want something bright. A bright blue on the walls. That looks quite good. And we'll look at the other colours as we go through, because I've got no rooms to colour, so I can't show you that. You can put the walls up and down by pressing the H key. The first H takes down interior walls. The second H takes down all the walls, the exterior walls as well. And again, press it again to get them all back up again. I'm going to take the walls down because they just get in the way, generally speaking. Right, now the first thing we need to do is build a couple of rooms. And that's the construction tab here. So we need to build a production room. I tend to put them up here near the front of the building because that's where the raw materials comes in and where the finished product will be taken out of. So basically, you want to keep things happening as close to the front door as possible. Now this is the larger side, but we'll actually build the production room here. So let's click there and build it like so. Add a door to it. One slight issue I've got with the game still is we can only have one door per room. So if I put a second door in, it's not a second door at all. It's the door. There is only one. Sometimes it would be nice to have two doors in a room, but at the moment that's not possible. So we'll accept that. Now that is a production room. That's where the manufacturing takes place. We'll also need a robot room. So we'll construct one of those, a robot room. This is where your robots get refueled, recharged with energy, and re-oiled or re-lubricated to keep them in good working order. And that doesn't need to be too big. That will do. And again, put a door on. Again, I think the trick here is to keep it fairly close to the in and out of the building and also to the production space, so robots don't have as far to travel, and we'll notice and talk about that a bit in a moment. Okay, those colouring options we couldn't do earlier. I've now got a production room, so I can now change the colour of that floor to purple. Yes, the robot room can be coloured yellow. Ooh, that is very bright, isn't it? And the corridor, i.e. everything else, I'll colour orange. That looks so good. That'd be a fabulous environment to work in. The little building up here is a storeroom, and it basically gives us a breakdown of what's going on in this particular building on our factory site. At the moment, it's telling us we ain't got no robots, so we can't do anything. Fair comment. Now, the other thing we need to set up here as well, now we've got the rooms, is a couple of zones. Now, the first zone here is going to be a temporary storage zone. It's going to be where we keep our partially finished, our partially created toys. So they go through the first stage of the process. We haven't got time or available machines to complete the process, so we just need to store them somewhere until there's a machine ready to complete the manufacturing process. So that's going to be this storage zone here, and I'll put it in here. Yeah, we'll just make it a little one there. You can put them inside or outside the room, it really doesn't matter, but my thinking is try and keep it as close to where the robots and the manufacturing is going on as possible, just to make that travel distance a little bit shorter, so things happen more quickly. Now the other zone we want is an export zone, and it's created in the same way using the zone tool as we saw there. And I'll put that along here. It doesn't need to be too big at the moment. We don't have a very big factory. And having accepted that, if we right click on it, we can change it to an export zone. So that's where products will be placed when they're finished. And when the customer comes back to pick up their finished product, they'll be taken out of here and placed on the back of the truck. There. Now, machines. We need machines to create our products. And we buy those from our machine factory, our machine shop here. But what machines do we want? So I think the next thing to do is check your contracts, and these are the things we can create to start with. We've got a choice of basic toys or special orders. Special orders will generally have, well, no, always have a deadline in which they need to be produced. So you need to look at your factory. Can it produce this 15 game consoles within 3 days or not? If it can't, then don't accept it. Well, we can't do this one anyway because we don't have a building which has a helipad on it. So that one, yeah, we can't do at all. They're usually more profitable, these special orders, but they do, as I say, usually have some constraints, some requirements on the order. Now we have choices of toys we can make here. We can make a plastic duck. That's difficulty level 1. You can see there's a very simple production chain. We could create a plastic drum set, difficulty level 2. Plan this product. More complex. Yeah, as you can see, there's 2 streams of product going in which need to be assembled to complete the finished product. Or we can create plush teddy bears, which are also level 2. So it's slightly more complicated. Now the thing we need to look at here, oh, there's another one as well, this one. Now this one has requirements on it, so if we click to that we can see it has required durability or sustainability. It has one of those 2 things. We'll talk about that in a moment. Now the thing to notice here is how much profit you might make. And this is the market space here, so this will be 188. So we could make these and we'll get 188 per product. All the drums are that much more expensive, but again they're that much more complex. They'll take more time, need more machines, need more raw materials, so they may not at this stage be more profitable. And the little plastic duck, 180. It's not a great difference between those 2, but because this one is simpler to use or simpler to create, it might be the one to go for. There's only 1 raw material needed, so it should be cheaper to produce, so the profit should be better. So in this case, we're going to go with the plastic duck, and it tells us here what machines we need. This is why I came to contracts first. So you might want to just buy machines and then find, oh, hang on, I haven't got the machines I need for that particular contract. So check the contracts first and then decide what machines you want to buy. So we're going to need a plastic injection machine and a paint station. So let's come out of here for a second. Close the planning and we go to the machine shop and we want a plastic injection machine, and we'll place you down there again close to the entrance so it's quick for the robots to get to, basically. So we'll put you down there. That cost me 800. I can place more than one if I want to, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, but I don't for the moment. We'll just have the one, and we'll right click to get rid of that and buy another machine, which is going to be the painting station. And again, you can press the R key if you want to rotate them, if you need to, but these are obviously in the right orientation anyway, so that's fine. Now, that's our 2 machines, so we can now do that contract. I was going to mention sustainability and stuff, but I'll leave that for a moment when we talk about the economy. Okay, we've got the factory buildings, we've got the machines, we ain't got no staff or robots to actually do the manufacturing. So let's go to our robot shop. Robot market here. You can buy quite expensive new robots which have good skills. They're fast across the floor, they're efficient at the processing, so their processing speed, the way they use machines is better, they're faster at using the machines. Also, which can be very important at this stage of the game, is how long they need between charges. So this one has quite a good electricity charge capacity, so they'll need to go back to be recharged less often. Likewise with lubrication, with the oil capacity here. So you can either pay up front and get a fairly efficient robot for a quite hefty price. Look at this, I've only got 9,800 at the moment. I don't think I can afford that really. Or, which is what I tend to do, is go for cheaper robots and have them upgrade. So as they produce more products, as they produce more toys, they will get more experience and they will level up. And you can then apply these stars and make them faster, more efficient, or whatever as you go through. And in fact, their price will go up as well. And so you can sell them if you don't need them. So you could make money that way from your robots. Now, I'm just going to go, a couple of 200 ones. So we've got Lucas here. He's a little bit fast. Ava is a little bit, better at storing oil. That's the save game. I think I do that every 10 or 20 minutes, whatever. However long I've been recording this for. So we'll pick up Lucas, and he'll be placed in room 101. It's the only building I've got open at the moment, so he can only go there. And I can choose a colour. We'll choose red, shall we? There you go. That's a nice colour. So we will buy Lucas. We need to buy another robot. And we'll buy Ava as well. Again, we'll colour her red because they're all going to be red in this building. So that's another 200. Do I need another one? Ooh, quite possibly. No, let's go here to the shop. Ooh, Emma, 200. You're a little bit fast again, so we'll take you. Change you to... Actually, let's not change your colour for the moment. We'll accept you. Okay, now they're arriving by bus. So they'll turn up in a moment. These robots will need maintenance. So we're going to need to put something in our robot room here. So, and that is going to be a charger. So we need to rotate that. And also a lubricator. And rotate that. And that will go in there as well. So I think we're all ready to accept that contract. So let's go back to that contract. We're going to create the plastic ducts. We'll plan the product. You can see now it's ticked off our required machines. It knows we've got them. So we're happy with that. We can plan the product. We're going to tell it which machines to use to create this particular toy. So we're going to click that. And we'll click on the injector and likewise on the paint station. And this is all going to be done in room 101. Now this amount, how many of these can we produce? Now we'll notice it says here it's going to take 9 hours on our machines to produce them. Now this doesn't necessarily include all the times your robots will spend running around the building between the stock room and the machines, or indeed recharging or refueling. So this could be a very optimistic estimate. But we are allowed to build 63, so the market will take 60 of them. So could I produce 50? 45. We'll talk about that in a minute. Now this thing here, now in the very first versions of the game that we saw when the beginnings demo was released, there were two criteria here, durability and health, which was a nice mechanic, but I think it got confusing and wasn't entirely helpful. So they've now simplified it a lot. And what you now do is when you accept a contract, you say what quality of raw materials you want to use. You can still select between the different products that you're bringing in, the raw plastic or the plastic paint, whichever. You can have them set at different quality levels, but I generally leave them all the same one. Now, some products will have a minimum quality requirement. And obviously, if you go up for a higher quality product, like 75%, that's going to cost me 3,000 in raw materials. Whereas if I take it down to the minimum required here, which is 60, it's only less than 2.5 grand. So I'm saving 600 by going for a lower quality product. Do you know what? I think that's a good idea. So that will take 45 hours. Your factory runs in a market which lasts 3 days. So there's a market cycle of 72 hours, which I think is 3 days, which is indicated by the egg timer clock here. Because the game was running briefly when we set this up, it's counted down 10 hours already. Time flies when you're having fun. So every 72 hours, the market will change and the prices for the products will change, as will the demand. So you will get different products added to the market, you'll get new contracts for new products, and products that are no longer required will disappear from the marketplace. So what you want to do is make sure, certainly in the early stages of the game, is that your products can be produced within that market period, that market cycle. So that's 72 hours. I'm thinking 45 hours here to make 50 should be doable. The only issue I've got is that my robots are very poor quality, so they might not be able to do it in time. Let's see how they stack up. So we'll execute that. We'll get the game running. The robots will start arriving shortly, as will the raw materials. So there's raw materials coming in. Where are my robots? Ah, here they're coming in at last. So they'll get to work. There's a third robot somewhere. They don't have an idea about collision, so collisions don't work. You see, that robot's already gone in to be refueled. That's a very low quality robot. Now the other thing here, you notice I forgot to colour this robot red. So if I click on them, right click on them, there you go, I can go, that's Emma, I can click on your details there, and I can edit that robot. I can change the name, for example, so I could call you Room 101 Emma, just in case I wanted multiple Emmas in my business. So I can rename them here to that, and I can also change their colour. I can also change which room they work in as well, if I had more than one building, but for the moment I don't have that. So that is Emma. She's now changed, so right click off that, and they should all now be lovely red colour. That's it. And we've already got 3 ducks produced. Now this little beep here is telling me that I have more than one robot that requires recharging, but I've only got one recharging machine. So that robot is delayed. They're sat in this stock room here waiting. So that's obviously adding to the manufacturing time that is going to take for this particular contract. So you need to make sure that your robots don't spend too much time waiting around for these machines. So one of your first things you might do is actually put in a couple more of these robot machines, just to maintain the maintenance schedule and keep things flowing quite quickly. Anyway, that's basically setting up a contract, getting it working, getting the building working. Let's look at a more developed save game and see how it pans out when you've got a lot more going on. So this is a save game I've been playing for quite some time. As you can see down here, I'm actually now on day 406. My factory is at level 55. And what happens in the factory levels? Well, when you complete a contract, if we go into a contract on the marketplace here, we'll choose that one, plan this product, it will tell you what XP you'll get for that contract. So the more XP you get, and that builds up on these points at the bottom here, on this little graph at the bottom, and you will gradually upgrade your factory depending on how much experience you get. One slight little frustration with the version of the game at the moment is that although if you click on the contract tab here for the contract you're currently working on, it tells you what it is, it tells you what the market is. You can't plan it again because you're already producing that product. You can't produce it twice, but it doesn't tell you what XP you're getting, which is slightly frustrating. You'll get more XP if you're doing more complex products and if you're using higher durability or higher quality raw materials. So that all builds up into this factory experience, and that will build up your factory levels. Now every time you level up your factory, you'll get 1 research point, which plugs into the research tree here. There's a fair amount here you can research, which gives you machine upgrades, more advanced machines. You can get better quality supplies or cheaper supplies. You can get faster trucks. Yeah, one thing I realised fairly early on is the trucks coming to deliver the raw materials and take away the finished products aren't very fast. So you could lose a good few hours in each day waiting for the trucks to turn up and deliver your product, your raw materials. So having a faster truck or faster helicopter or faster train or whatever can be very handy. You can also have cost saving research here, which saves on your building costs, your electricity costs, storage and so on if you wish. Now of these, one of the most important research options I think to take is the market predictor, which only takes 3 research points, so you just need to get to level 3 factory. And what that does is when you go into a contract, you can see what the price will be on the next market cycle. So if we look at this house here, which is being produced in plot number 1, this building you can see underneath everything, that currently has a unit price of 779. On the next market cycle, it will actually go up to 811. So what you can do, if you're canny using the market predictor, is say, well, I will actually promise to produce slightly more than I can do in this market cycle in 72 hours time, because I know that if I can't deliver them until the next market cycle, I'll actually get more from them, or more for them, more accurately. Let's speak English, shall we? So the price will go up to 811. On the rockets, actually, this one here, you can see the price goes down dramatically from 520 to 387. So for this particular product, I need to make sure that my factory can produce it within this market cycle, within those 72 hours. So that's a good thing to be able to do. Talking about prices, market cycles, a quick look at the economy of the game, which is here on the economy and statistics. It calls itself a Tycoon, Smart Factory Tycoon, but to be honest, it's not really a Tycoon game. You are in competition with AI companies, but you don't know what they're doing. It's not direct competition. You're not fighting for contracts or stuff like that. You're just trying to make money and ship out as much product as you can. The economy, again, there's not quite enough information or control in your hands to make it a proper tycoon. Now you can reduce your electricity costs, for example. So if we look here, my electricity costs are today so far nearly £2,500, and that is made up of all the machines that I've got in my buildings. I've got 2 buildings, in fact. So all the machines will use that much electricity. The connectors, I'll talk about connectors in a moment. The chargers and lubricators in my robot rooms are 490, but because I've been putting down some of these solar panels or wind turbines, if you do more research you can get wind turbines as well, they feed back into the national grid, so you get money for that. So you get this nice sort of rebate here, and that's explicitly mentioned in here. Previously, on the earliest versions of the game and the early versions of the beginnings demo, this was all hidden behind some somewhat obscure calculation. But that's nice that they've now made that much more explicit and obvious what's actually going on. And talking about obscure calculations, the other one was sustainability. Now, when you're putting items down in your factory, like a transforming or a thermoforming machine, you can see here that it uses 26 electricity and also has a -7 sustainability. And each machine has a similar thing, a sustainability count and an electricity cost. Likewise with your robots, if I click on one, does it tell me? Sophia, yeah, you have a -5 sustainability. There is a cost for the robots, I think, but I'm not sure if that's explicitly mentioned. I did do a calculation once, but I've simply, I'm afraid, forgotten what it was. So everything you've got in your factory has a sustainability cost. And in this day and age, of course, we don't want to be taking away from the planet. We want to be environmentally friendly and sustainable. And that's what these trees are for. So to counter that cost of sustainability, you can put down trees in your garden. Again, you can get bigger, better, more variety of trees by doing research. But if I put in, say, this tree 2, it's going to cost me, how much is it going to cost me? 250, but gives me a 6 positive on sustainability. Now, previously, this was hidden behind an obscure calculation. It was very difficult to know exactly what the impact of these trees was. But now it's much simpler. As soon as you put a machine or a robot in your factory, you'll see sustainability go down. It will go negative to start with until you start planting trees. But once you start planting trees, like if I put this one down, I'll put that one there. Watch my sustainability counter down here. That goes up by 6. So it's nice, simple, straightforward, and it's obvious what's going on, which is nice. Why is that important? Because on some contracts, we noticed this a bit earlier. This one here, for example, this customer only wants products with a sustainability from a factory with a sustainability index of 30. So unless you've got that, you're not going to be allowed to plan this product. All very eco-friendly, all very in tune with our times. Another way of getting experience, I've just remembered, you can get on here, is milestones. So these are here. So when you achieve certain sort of in-game objectives or achievements, like delivering 100 products, or 15 special orders, or reaching a certain factory level, you'll get additional XP, which will bump up your factory progression down here. So sometimes that can be a huge boost to how your factory develops and getting all those extra research points you need for the really good research. Now what's going on here is why I've come into this save game is because I've just got about enough money, I think, to go into a new building. This one here with the helipad, because I've not done that yet and I want to see what the helipad looks like. I want to see how that works. Hopefully, actually, if I look at the market today, are there any products which require a helipad? Yeah, oh, the game console. Yeah, this can only work in a building with a helipad. So, and I don't have one, so I can't plan this product. Special orders. No, that one needs a train. I can't afford the train building, which is over here somewhere. Yeah, it'd be nice if I could zoom out further, but you can't, so I can see the whole factory. 266, no. Oh, hang on. As I said before, robots level up, and you get that indication. If you're watching the game closely, there'll be a little flash underneath the robot as they level up. If not, they're notified here in that little panel here, the event log. If I click on that, it shows me which robots are leveling up. There we go. Violet. We could make you, yeah, recharge less often, and Hazel, or a little bit more speed across the floor will be good. That is fine. And we can see here that apparently 83% towards completion of these houses in plot number 1. Now that doesn't mean I've got 85% completed product, because as you can see here I haven't, but it means I've done 85% of the work needed to complete the contract. And on the rockets in plot number 2 over here, yeah, I'm a little bit closer, well not as close rather, 79% on that one. Now that one should be able to complete. I think these all should complete within this market cycle, which should be good. While we're here watching our robots run around, I just right click on this little stockroom building here. You can see here what this building is doing. It's doing the robot contract. These are the robots in there, and this is what's in the storeroom. So all the robots are out on the factory floor doing useful stuff. And I've got 15 pots of 13 pots of paint stored up, and everything stored in there will incur a storage cost. And as you can see here in the event log here, those daily costs can rack up when you get a bigger factory. Yeah, so be aware of that, and that's on a daily basis, not per market cycle. If I just slow these, oh, things have happened. Let's pause the game here. Right, it's just pinged at me. You might have heard that both products are ready for shipment. Now, just thinking, trying to be canny here, the house, I remember, goes up in price tomorrow. So what I think I might do with this is hold on to it and not ship it out until tomorrow. So we should see this revenue, this income, increase. Though, of course, we will pay for storage for some stuff. But hopefully that will, the extra profit will cover that. The rockets, as we noted earlier, they're going down in price for the next market cycle, which is currently 5 hours and 8 minutes away. So I'm going to hang on to the houses for those 5 hours, but we're going to ship out the rockets right now, get those shipped out. Now what I was going to mention was these connectors here. Now what you can do is, when you're planning a product, rather than having it go to one machine in particular, you can say have 3 machines in your factory, and you'll have your robots choose the first free machine out of those 3 which they can use to do that stage of the manufacturing process. And the way you do that is by putting in a connector. So this connector here is linked to those 3. So when I do the planning for those rockets, which I don't think I can do at the moment because, yeah, they're currently out. Is there a rocket? Is there a special order for rockets? No, there isn't. If I go here, for example, what I can do here is, when I want to click on which machine to use for this particular stage of the manufacturing process, I click not on the individual machine but on the connector, and that machine, that then means that the robots will pick whichever of these 3 is free to do that stage of the process. Yep. So that makes things a lot more easy and efficient, and allows you to sort of get through products that much more quickly without hanging around for one particular machine to be available. The other nice thing which has happened since we first saw the game in February is the planning stage here remembers what you last did. So when I created a water gun previously, I would have to reset all these machines in the planning stage every time I created a water gun. What they've done, which is a great improvement in my mind, is that once you've set a planning mode up here, once you've produced one set of water guns in your factory, in that building, because this plan is per building, it will remember which machines you used to produce that water gun. So you don't need to go through and link all the machines all over again. Obviously, if you want to rearrange them because your building is being used for something else as well, you've got 2 contracts running in a building, you can go back and adjust this plan for this next time as well, and then it will remember what your adjusted plan was. So that's a really nice improvement to the gameplay, I reckon. Okay, so we're going to wait for this to deliver and our market cycle to turn over, and we should see the price for these houses go up. Right, so we've got that money for those rockets, so we'll just run this forward till the market turns over and see that price go up a bit, hopefully. Well, it will, it has to, because the price has gone up per unit. There it is. We're now going to get 20,275 for these 25 houses. So that's a nice increase. Hopefully that covers the extra costs I paid for storage. So we will ship those out now. Now, what I wanted to do in this final part of this video, which is why I've brought you into this sort of long-standing save game, is I now want to move into a new building. This one here with the helipad. So let's open that up. That's going to cost me 175. It gives me that amount of building space with garden space outside and a building area inside where I can put my rooms and machines and robots and stuff. So let's open that up. I need to name it first, and I'm going to call... Oh yeah, one slight thing. Hopefully they can change this as the game sort of goes into release, is at the moment you can't change your building names. Yeah, I have a habit of making mistakes. I have a plan, a naming scheme in mind for the first building, then I forget what it is for the second building and get it wrong. So it would be nice if we could change those building names. So we're going to call this one Plot Number 3 without a space, which is what the first building had. And there it is. So we've now got a helipad, no robots in this building. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly set this building up with the required rooms, get some robots in, and we'll see how it all works. Okay, so we've now got a very basic building set up. I could probably organise this a bit better, to be honest, but this will do for now. So let's have a quick look at what contracts are available to us, ideally for buildings which require a helipad. And what's the betting there are going to be none? Oh, we've got the game console. Oh, this one we could do. This one we could do. But it does require sustainability of 80. My sustainability has gone down a lot because I put all these machines, this new building in. So I need to spend more money on trees. So we could do this one. We do have plastic injection machines and painting machines and assembly stations in the other buildings. So what I'll do is I'll borrow them from this other building here and put them into my new building. So I can use and put the new machines that I need in there separately. Okay, so I need an injection machine. I need to unlink them from the existing connector before I can move them. So if I attempt to move this machine, I can't because it's linked to a connector or it's being used or being planned to be used for a new product. Right, so let's uncut those machines and we'll take that one, take that one, and we'll move you into our production room over here. I'll take you around. And we'll do the same with the injection machines as well. And you're on... Oh, actually, if I put these back on the connector, otherwise I will forget. So I think that was that one, wasn't it? Link you, yeah, to those. Shift click. to link them. And it only identifies machines which aren't already linked to some other connector, so there's no risk of linking things up twice or getting that wrong. So this is the connector for the paint stations. So we'll take you away, put you in there. That's you done. Okay, now to accept this particular contract, I'm going to need a coding machine and an electronic testing machine. So they're advanced machines, you can tell by the little icon. So the coding machine, this is £6,000, gosh. Put you there. And then also the electronic testing, which is £7,000. Again, a huge electricity bill and a big sustainability hit. So I'll put you in there. Right, now to do those game consoles, I'm going to need sustainability of 80. I've got a lot of trees to plant. Let's get those planted. Where you plant the trees doesn't matter, as long as they're within your building site somewhere. They don't have to be around any particular building. Nearly there. There you go, 86. So I should now be able to accept that contract. But actually, let's put in a little bit of a storage zone and an export zone. Otherwise, it'll get cross with me. We can put that in here. You can't make zones odd shapes. So if I edit that zone, edit that, I can't. Can I do that? I can't. It just adds the whole thing in. But you can add in separate zones and it will use them. It doesn't matter where they are. If it needs a storage zone, it will find the nearest one. So I'll put you in there. That's that done. And an export zone. I'll put you down there. Again, at this stage of the game, they don't need to be terribly big because I'm not producing a great many products. Okay, let's go back to that contract for the game consoles. We'll plan that. Again, we've only got one injection machine, unfortunately, and one paint station. Yeah, we've only got one of everything, so we haven't got connectors yet. So this is going to be a slow process to manufacture. But at least you kind of get the idea, hopefully, of what's going on here. So that's the coding machine. That is the assembly station. And finally, electronic testing. Yep, that's done. And this one has a minimum quality requirement of 90. So the raw material is going to be quite expensive. Indeed. And we are allowed to make 21. That's all the market needs at the moment. I can up or down that, or I can type in 20. That will take 5 days. Gosh, I've only got 3 days. But what does the market say about the price of these things? They're going to go down in price in the next market cycle. So I need to be able to do these within 3 days or make less money. Potentially lose money. So, yeah, I've got very cheap and cheerful robots. So I'm not sure I could even do 10. It says 2 days, 16 hours then. Let's just do 5. Yep, 32 hours. We should be able to do that. So let's execute that plan. And let's see. Oh, there's our helicopter arriving. Awesome. And you can press the... There's a hotkey to hide the UI, which you hold down, and it does that. That is lovely. So they're getting on with that. Awesome. And I think with that, we'll bring this episode to an end. So thank you very much for watching this episode of Smart Factory Tycoon, just in time for the release of the game. As I said, it's not a great tycoon title. It's not really a tycoon title at all. It's not as complex a manufacturing or process game as the likes of Factorio, which, to be honest, I've never played properly anyway. But, you know, so it's not a game that requires that level of detail or attention or skill or whatever. But as a grand way of spending a few hours every now and then, I reckon it's a nice little title. All the bits work, and it's a lovely, relaxing way of spending time and just working things out without too much stress. So yeah, thank you so much again for joining me today for this latest update to Smart Factory Tycoon. If you've enjoyed this, it'd be great to hear from you. A little bit of a like would be lovely. Even better though, if you've got anything to say about the game itself or the things I've shown you, or if you've got questions, anything at all you feel like saying, please do drop a note into the comments box below. Other than that, of course, if you've not already subscribed, you could do that now, and that way you'll know if I upload another one of these or any of my other Let's Play videos. So from me, Ajaxpost, until the next time, bye bye for now.